Has anyone ever wondered what happens if a male inherits the female Titan? Just me? Okay. Attack on Titan has finally come to an end after 10 years. I'll spare you the joke of how many parts the final season was split into. I'm sure you heard more jokes about this than the number of parts the final season was split into. Now here's a question the show raised. Was Eren ethical for stepping on the world and wiping out most of the world's population? Nope. He was not ethical in the slightest. And that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe or you'll get stepped on by a titan. I'll pretend I didn't hear that. Also, seriously, this is not the end of the video, please don't click off please. I'm an entity that exists only in this YouTube video, clicking off is the same as killing me. What separated the Eldians from the other humans was that the main characters were Eldians, and also they could turn into a giant naked eunuch that eats humans just for a chance to win the lottery and get one of the 9 titans and turn back to humans. The titans, especially the 9 titans, were so much more powerful than any human. No wonder they had the confidence to run around naked. This couldn't be solved by wiping out all the titans like what Season 1 Eren said.
If someone with the powers of one of the 9 should die without passing it on to a successor, the power will be inherited by a baby born after that death, a subject of Ymir, of course.
Which meant they had a better return policy than some clothing stores. Fear and conflict will continue until the power imbalance is resolved. One way was to wipe out the Eldians, basically what the guy with the disproportionate head titan proposed. The other way was for everyone to be as powerful as titans. The world was moving towards this solution with anti-titan weapons. Marley wanted to maintain the power imbalance by taking the founder titan, and they failed because they didn't realize they were against the main characters. This pushed the world back to the first solution instead. The last solution was for the power imbalance to remain but everyone lives peacefully. That wouldn't happen, so let's just cross it out. Eren wanted to prevent the first solution by pushing the world back to the second solution, by killing all non-Eldians through the rumbling. This solution ensured the survival of his people, but it was not at all ethical. Peaceful and ethical solutions would have more uncertainty. Eren threw ethics out of the window to embrace the certainty of survival. His solution is very effective in ensuring the survival of the Eldian race. I mean, the logic is so simple that even most animals understand. They can't kill you if you kill them first. Eren also said he wanted freedom.
Everyone was a slave to something.
Humans are shaped and governed by their genetics and environment. True freedom doesn't exist, only the perception of freedom. The free-to-download mobile games nowadays are a manifestation of this. I don't know whether he'd feel free after committing genocide, but committing genocide is certainly not the only way for him to feel free. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm about to explain why genocide is unethical. Here's what I think the purpose of ethical principles is: to minimize suffering. This is kind of a circular reasoning, but hear me out. The world needs a set of ideals to help guide human behavior to minimize suffering, and I define ethics as that set of ideals. Ethics is a rather vague term, so I'm molding it to conform to one of the world's needs. Just like how AI chatbots could be molded into virtual girlfriends for lonely people. Yes, this is the best analogy I could come up with. Ethical principles concern the welfare of all humans, or even as far as every sentient being, because if you only have to care about your group to be ethical, then many heinous acts in human history would be justified. Conquering other nations, or to get enough resources for the survival of your group. Slavery. Now your group won't be overworked and have a higher productivity to increase the survival rate. You might as well use some kind of forbidden magic to erase people you don't know. Fewer people means less competition for resources after all. Even the racist guilt trip gaslight agenda of Marley is a way to keep the Eldians in check. Is it ethical? Nope, because it only benefits the non-Eldians. Yes, this is the battle between survival and ethics I've mentioned in the title. And ethics is getting absolutely destroyed by survival. Between survival and ethics, most people will pick survival and then twist ethics to justify their actions. You can pretend to be ethical, but a corpse can't exactly pretend to be alive. Unless you are a zombie, a vampire, or an Amazon worker. Ethics is a luxurious item that won't be worth much if survival is threatened. Of course, there are exceptions where people hold on to their ethics no matter what, and I hereby give them an imaginary gold star for that. Give me a break, what else could I give them? Their life back obviously, but I can't do that. A lion's action to take a zebra's life is unethical, but lions cannot survive on plants like zebras. Or maybe they could, but they just hate zebras. The context that shapes us could limit our ability to survive ethically. A similar example is the bomb that ended World War II. I'm sure those who watched the movie would know that Barbie actually killed all those people with a glitter bomb. The use of the atomic bomb was highly unethical, but it ensured the survival of the Allied soldiers and citizens, so it was a good decision. One example is in real life and one in an anime, so we all know which one is more serious, right? Another part of Eren's reasoning was to use unethical actions to prevent further unethical actions. Eren believes that if he could get this killing over with, there would be much less suffering because the conflict between the Eldians and the rest of the world would end. As the show said,
None of us know what the future might hold.
the characters have realized no one can predict the future, not even the audience. Then Eren found out that he could see the future because why not? But still, there was no guarantee the future he saw would definitely happen. Any unethical action is unethical regardless of its goal, precisely because the action might not fulfill the goal. Or there could be a more ethical alternative. The so-called only way that edgy characters usually say to justify their own actions is no more than a declaration of how much they are coping. We are not omniscient. We might never know what we could have done better. But that is not a reason to justify unethical actions. Ancient civilizations thought sacrificing babies was the only way to stop natural disasters. This lack of knowledge does not justify dumping babies into a pit of fire. How the hell did they even get to this conclusion? Did a baby once die at the same time as a flood ended? The other characters murdered a lot of Jaegerists to stop Eren, which makes their actions unethical too. Ethics is not binary but a scale. The scary thing is because we are confined to the present and our own perspectives, there is no way to objectively rank different actions on the ethical scale, though we could only eyeball it. Eren seemed far more unethical as he was inflicting suffering on the whole world. His actions couldn't ensure the suffering ends.
Peace between men will never be certain, not until our numbers fall to 1 or less.
With the rest of the world gone, the Eldians might still fight for the 9 Titans. The more ethical option was to negotiate and sign a bunch of treaties. The negotiation means uncertainty and giving up control. That is not something Eren is down with. Instead, he wants a battle through natural selection. This battle will decide between a certain death for the rest of the world or an uncertain future where the Eldians might get wiped out. Is natural selection the ideal way to resolve things? Of course not. Because under natural selection, ethics will only be a handicap. Without ethics, people would have more incentive to inflict pain. That is the whole reason why ethical principles have to exist. We could only end the cycle of pain through ethics or wiping out everyone. You can't feel pain if you aren't alive. Maybe. In the end, actions we think are ethical might not be ethical. I don't want to go off on a tangent. This video should be about Attack on Titan. I'll talk about ethics more in a later video. Here's my takeaway after overthinking a fictional world for way too long. Eren's actions would inflict suffering on most humans, which made his actions unethical. But that was the best decision to achieve the goal of survival. That's all to it. I choose to believe that genocide should be criticized no matter what, whether it is Eren or Marley doing it. Because in the case where genocide is the only way to save the human race, what's a little guilt gonna do? Why do we have to feel good about killing? We might do it to survive, but there is no need to justify it afterwards and ban ethics just to make ourselves feel better. Banning ethics weakens the effect of ethical principles in governing human behavior. We should constantly strive for ideals through practical means. Even if we don't reach the ideals, we might just get closer to them. As this video ends, I'm leaving one more question to you. Why is Eren Yeager so damn hot?